The Evening Brothers are proud to present Twinkie Talk.
Preston, I have a radical idea. I think you should intro us this time because this is your movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that gonna be the thing now?
Preston,
Like whoever's
Preston.
movie it is has to
Preston.
intro
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, that's what it is. You have to intro it if it's your
okay,
movie.
Okay.
So good luck.
Do you remember what to say?
Now there's,
Do you know what
there's
this show is
extra
called?
pressure not to screw it up. Welcome to the Twinkie Talk, hosted by the Evening Brothers. I
It
am
was so
Brother
close.
Preston.
So close. So close. We're going to I'll fix it in post. I'm Brother Lincoln.
I am Brother John. Don't fix it in post. Don't you dare.
Wait, what did I mess up?
Well, it's
Oh,
Twinkie Talk. And
Yeah, remember that scene when
Right, isn't that what I said?
the one guy in the social network says to stop calling it the Facebook and start calling it Facebook? Well,
It's like-
basically that happened before we even started this podcast. It was just called Twinkie Talk.
yeah, it's Twinkie Talk. It's not the Twinkie Talk. It's like a
what
grandma
did I
being
say?
like, did you been on the YouTubes recently? It's nothing.
Sorry. We'll move on. Preston,
I
keep
say
going.
this is the
Tell us about the movie.
Wait,
Oh,
It's
you
just
also
called Twinkie Talk.
whatever.
Have
It
we
doesn't matter.
have we officially landed on the first ever cinematic punishment podcast by three white guys?
I think we just we mention it with increasing levels of ironic detachment every time.
Cool.
So I think we're nailing it right now.
Okay, thanks.
I feel like it gets brought up like that enough that
Everybody kind
it's
of
almost
knows.
better than I don't know.
Then
Anyways.
a tagline.
Yeah. Okay, go,
Anyways,
Preston. Tell us.
so this week, 2 weeks, whatever, we watched Wanted, a film from 2008.
And boy, you feel it. Like every movie we watched, it really wears its decade and year on its sleeve.
It is peak 2000s action for sure. I picked this movie because I feel like I remember watching it at some point and being like, man, that was like a pretty great movie. And then thinking about it now and being like, wow, I don't know why I liked that. That was probably a really terrible movie. And then watching it and it being kind of somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely,
this is kind of the second Real Steel situation where it's a movie that we all kind of liked. We all walked away from
Right.
saying, was it actually that bad? Are we going to be able to really
Except
make
for
fun of this?
Lincoln. Lincoln hated Real Steel.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you didn't hate it. You definitely had it out for Real Steel.
Yeah, I just hate Hugh Jackman. You know it.
I was so prepared for this movie. Like, I was so concerned all the way through this movie that some shoe was going to drop where it got bad, like really bad. I've been trained by all of us to expect a movie that starts and I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. And then it just goes really bad really quick. It didn't. I felt that was almost worse than if it had gotten bad because I was so scared the whole time.
Yeah, I was kind of that way too. I was watching it, waiting for it to get bad, and then it never really got there.
Yeah, I think there's nice little sprinkles of badness that we're going to have, I think, plenty to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
But overall, it was a movie that was executed pretty well. It had a great cast. It was written okay. The writing is fine, serviceable.
Yeah, and the action's really fun. It's
The action is fun,
well done.
well choreographed, and there's some really good VFX work too.
Yeah.
I think because it's so stylized, that kind of hides some of the issues and crimes and stuff like that, and kind of smooths the whole thing over a little bit.
Much
Oh,
like our
yeah, for
brains from all the bad
When
movies.
we watch this movie,
We've been so smoothed over that we're like, you know what? Wanted? Pretty good.
wanted pretty good.
What happens in the movie?
Yeah, talk us through it.
I guess we can go right into it. So it opens with a narration and also a really nice typed text intro as
Oh
well.
yeah, the font is Agency FB. So it's one step above whatever Helvetica in Constantine.
Yeah.
So they actually had to click down the drop down menu to get to this font. So you already know more
Which
effort
makes
was
you-
put into this movie.
It makes you know it was a choice, which could
Yeah,
be good,
yeah.
could be bad. I don't know.
I mean, it was definitely a choice, especially
It's very
the text
book
intro.
report from 7th grade energy is the text intro.
It's really the text intro and the narration for me. It's and the whole text intro gets covered later. so much better. Like the text didn't really need to be there.
I actually forgot that there was text until you guys started talking about it. So yeah, you were very right. Did not need it.
Yeah. There's multiple good scenes where they explain everything, and
Preston, I'm so sorry. We have to stop because we have homework. We had homework, and
that's right.
None of us remember to talk about it.
oh, we did have. Well, I feel like
That could come up halfway through.
yeah. That's a halfway through thing.
Okay, we can keep
That's
going.
a halfway through thing.
I'll trust you then. I'll leave it to you to bring it back up.
Yeah, come on, Lincoln. This is my episode. Let me run my
Let the
episode.
teacher teach.
I'm so sorry.
He's the man who gave us the homework. He can tell us what stipulates the usage of the homework.
Yeah, come on, Lincoln.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? For that, get out of the podcast. It's just Preston and me now.
Oh, I don't know how well that would.
Really, really bad.
I didn't know
It would go
bringing
really
up the
bad.
structure of our podcast was a fireable offense, but I guess it's good to know.
I sent you the list, okay?
If one of us go, we all have to go.
You really thought I'd read all the way through that list?
All the way through the 3 bulleted
All the
list.
bylaws?
The 3 bullets list, 2 of which are don't eat too many Cheez-Its. That's really your problem.
Anyways, so we have a text intro. I mean, I think from there it's like right into introducing Wesley and his office job. And I feel like it really tries to like lean into like a Fight Club-esque,
Oh, yeah.
like super dark, like kind of thing. And I think
but
that's
like misreading Fight Club.
100%.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
That is a key piece of this movie to me, is someone who saw Fight Club and went, dang, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. What if it had more guns?
And I think that's like the number one thing that makes this movie kind of terrible. Is there's this very weird sort of current running through it of like, you know, especially at the
Of not
end where he
understanding
goes,
what Fight Club is?
What the fuck have you done lately?
Yeah.
And it's just this really weird sort of undercurrent that I don't know is really that effective.
I would
beyond-
say no.
It confuses the themes of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the movie gets so close to like criticizing this idea of a revenge fantasy, but the ending is like, oh no, don't worry. Revenge is okay.
He still
Revenge is
shoots a guy
totally fine.
directly between the eyes. Don't worry, it's okay. Yeah, did you guys, like, I feel like in talking about Fight Club with this movie, Wesley is such a shithead the whole time. Like,
He's a regular Shia LaBeouf in Transformers.
the
like, they're the
worst guy.
same character.
100%. He's the worst guy possible. And, like, Fight Club has the
yeah.
decency to point it out in subtext. This movie does not, because I don't think it knows.
No. The only way that you know that it doesn't know because they have someone worse than him. They have Chris Pratt playing a worse person.
Oh, yeah, he sure does.
Which
Also, just how refreshing was it to see Chris Pratt playing an actual character?
Being like an actor? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
wonderful.
It was like, whoa,
Incredible.
this man is acting. I forgot that he could act.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, my first 3 notes in order for this movie are classic text intro, Chris Pratt, and then aiming for Fight Club angst and failing.
Mine says, I think I saw Chris Pratt.
Oh, yeah, I have Chris Pratt jump scare written on there.
Oh yeah, did you see him like standing by the table? You're
Yeah.
like, whoa, is that Chris Pratt?
It was like if you guys, I don't know if you've seen the movie It, but there's a scene in a library where you're like, what's in the back? And it turns out it's like the clown, the evil clown, but they don't ever talk about it. It's like that, where you're like, I think I know that guy. And it's just like, Star-Lord. Oh, God.
And the fact that it was made before he was famous means that the movie is not like trying to draw your attention to the fact that he's Chris Pratt. He's
No.
just an actor in this movie.
happens to be
and you know
there.
what? He's doing a good job.
He is doing a good job.
I will say, he plays a real shithead of a character, and he does it pretty well.
All of my favorite Chris Pratt roles are when he's a really terrible guy.
True. Truth.
Like the beginning of Parks and Rec is peak Chris Pratt.
Oh, yeah.
energy.
For sure.
I feel like
for sure.
all of the Guardians movies, he's just like kind of the worst guy in the best possible way.
But also the movie is like actually trying to pull him through a character change because of it. It's not. So maybe we should talk about James McAvoy now, which
Oh, yeah,
also
'cause-
he's another actor I really admire and like his work a lot.
Not as much in this one, I didn't think, but yes.
I don't know how much of it was his fault. I think he's doing a good job with what he was given.
Some of the time. I'm sure we'll get to some of
I
it.
guess we'll get to it. Thank you for being so polite, John. That was a lot of really easy talking me back down out of my
Get into it a
And
little more.
Lincoln, I know you well enough to know that you are going to make plenty of statements on this podcast that you are not going to be able to walk back from. So just seems like I should give you this one.
Every once in a
Thank you
while,
so
we need
much.
to let you have a win.
Or you'll leave.
Or maybe I really will quit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get a good intro on Wesley and
What is it? Wesley Gibbons?
Gibson. I think his middle name is
Wesley
Alan
Gibson.
even. Wesley Allen Gibson.
Wow.
That is some deep knowledge.
And then
I
we
heard
get
that, John.
thrown
Don't
into an action set piece of one of our protagonists, or I guess technically the antagonist of the movie.
The antagonist of the movie, but not the villain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That is the exact right way to put it. And we get our first intro to the fraternity beyond the text intro. I feel like this scene does a way better, does kind of a better job, but it introduces sort of what the fraternity is and who's in it and what they can do.
which scene are you talking about?
It's the one that ends with him getting shot in the head with he's like standing on the
Okay.
X.
The first
Yeah.
decoys
Okay, I just
scene.
wasn't sure if we had moved on past that yet.
Oh, I hope not.
No, absolutely not. This scene is the first example of my favorite part of this movie, which is the best jumping through glass shots ever.
It's so great. I
so
hope you're
fun.
not being ironic because that
No, I am dead serious. That is probably my favorite part of this movie.
inject that shit directly into my veins. It's beautiful.
The glass like holding the shape of the person that jumps through it and like peeling off like Michael Phelps pulling out of the water.
It's so good, and it's such a great like climax to the moment of him like building up as the camera does its like weird dolly zoom thing as he's looking at.
Yeah.
Oh, my
It's
note
so
says
good.
nice weird kind of dolly zoom thing.
Yes. I kid you not, if you made a 3-hour The Batman long movie about it's just a bunch of guys jumping through glass over stuff and curving bullets, I'd watch it multiple times.
And in a lot of ways, I feel like this is a great scene to sort of introduce like the action and like the style of the movie.
Yeah.
Because so far, it's the first action piece, and it sort of introduces that, like, sort of the, like, little bit of, like, superhero kind of stuff. The weird dolly zoom thing, a thing that kind of continues throughout the rest of the movie.
Yeah, he's like charging up his special powers.
Yeah. Well,
I love that
like,
it's the sensation of like a spring like pulling and then releasing,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
it makes absolutely no sense. But
No, zero.
I still love it.
Don't worry about it. It's like the Flash. It doesn't matter.
Well, and
Looks
I
neat.
interpret it more as like it's that like tunnel vision, like hyper focus, like which I feel like I sort of remembered that as remembering that thinking like, oh, that was like super tacky or terrible, and then actually seeing it and that actually like kind of works and just like kind of adds to the mythology of the fraternity.
Which is such a dumb name, right? It's the
It's
fraternity.
It really is.
Terrible.
Could we have come up with anything else? I know it's
Come
based
up with
on
a
a
better
comic,
one
but
right
like
now.
anything else.
They could have called it the company.
Yeah, that would have worked. Or like the
like-
Gun Boys.
the
or the
Weavers of
Weavers.
Fate.
Oh, shoot.
Destiny's Threads.
Just threads.
Threads. Threados.
The threadheads.
Threadheads.
Red
just
Thread
like-
Redemption.
I mean,
Posing a thread.
leaned into the mythology and just like the fates. Like
Yeah, the
really go
fate
for
would be
the
good.
like threads of fate kind of. Anyway,
Fate of the Furious. There's one.
There's one.
Tokyo Drift, perhaps.
Tokyo drifting bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't ever see a bullet drift. That would be cool to see it like turn and go around a corner at the same time,
Oh,
and then
that
like
would be
gain
cool.
some momentum
Instead of curving,
and head
it does
around.
One of these.
Yeah.
Does one of these and just reverses direction.
Yeah. Well, it hits the handbrake is what it does. There's a little man in every bullet. Did you not know that? That was part of the lore of this movie.
Oh, really? Oh,
There's
I did not. I did not pick up on that. I had no
Yeah, there's
idea.
just a lil guy driving every bullet.
Yeah, that's how they get those like story and thematically appropriate catchphrases. They have to whisper to the gun of like, "Hey, this is going to be really pivotal. You better think of something cool to put on the outside of this bullet."
Which, as much as I hate to say it, I keep coming up with more reasons why this scene and this movie are good. Because this first scene also introduces the curving bullets. That's where we see that
Oh,
for the
yeah.
first time. And that's like a sort of important thing through the rest of the movie. And the glass thing is kind of, it gets echoed when they're like coming out of the, what they call it, like the healing room or whatever, like coming out of the wax.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
I didn't realize that until like just now.
Oh,
I don't know if that was
Preston.
intentional, but
Preston, that was the smartest thing I've ever heard maybe anyone say.
that's,
Yeah, I don't even
that's
know if we
not
can
true.
publish this podcast because we're coming up with so much smart shit over and over again.
Right.
No, this is just the outlier. No, I'm not making fun of you. That's like I did not pick up on that at all. But
No,
you're very right.
I'm making a joke that we're usually not this smart.
Yeah,
and
well,
right.
we are so.
I would say
and we're also
collectively
saying-
we're still not that smart.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, Jonathan and I got dumber to make up for it.
We're also saying way too many nice things about this movie so far.
Oh, there's plenty of bad stuff to say. Don't worry. There's
Which
Oh yeah, we'll
hey,
get to
well,
it.
let's get into the next scene then.
Well, I want to talk about him pulling out a shotgun while he's in midair.
what about it?
It just, I don't know, just the fact that you never see the shotgun beforehand. There's like no indication that there could possibly be a shotgun under his coat.
That's what's
And
so
he has enough time as he's flying through the air to pull one out, aim it, and fire it before he even lands. I don't know. I love it.
That's what's so good about shotguns is how hideable they are. That's why they had to put like open carry laws out there because everybody was like putting shotguns in their socks and whatnot.
Wait, do you think open carry laws mean like you have to show us your shotguns all the time?
Can I tell you, I'm not totally sure. Is that a fair thing to say that I really truly don't know?
You know, that now that I think about it, I think that is a good enough summation of what an open carry law's point is. They don't want people to hide their shotguns.
The closest thing I've ever owned to a shotgun is the game. The game. I'm forgetting the name of the game now. Lincoln, cut some of this out. Hold on. What's the one with the shotguns and the zombies?
Every
Resident
zombie
Evil.
video game ever.
Oh,
I'm gonna take a completely fresh take on that one. One more time. The
hey,
closest
take
thing.
3, let's go.
The closest thing I've had to owning a shotgun is okay, guys. Hang on, I need you to laugh really hard when I say this. 'Cause
Oh
it's
yeah,
gonna be really
don't worry.
wordy. Okay.
We're gonna laugh so hard.
The closest
This
thing.
was such a
the closest.
just the anticipation.
Fucking Lincoln. The closest thing I've had.
I love this joke.
The closest
John
thing that I've ever owned to it. The closest thing I've ever owned to a shotgun is the game Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I can't breathe. Oh man. Just swing and a miss on that one.
Well, it was a swing and 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 a miss.
Oh, Preston, save me from myself. What's in this movie?
All right. So then we get to meet, or I would say protagonist. I feel like she's a protagonist in sort of a roundabout way.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, thank you. That was totally unintentional, but I'm 100% going to take credit for that.
This is very good. You
You're
should.
saying so many smart things.
But yeah, we get to meet Fox, played by Angelina Jolie. I want you guys to know. Never mind. Never mind.
Well, no, hold on.
Whoa.
No, because if you don't say
What?
it, it's going to sound much worse than you
So-
think it is.
Well, so in the last one, where you guys kept making fun of me for mixing up somebody el's last name.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Anyways.
just want us to know that you got it right.
Right, yeah. Made sure.
Oh, I see.
Let's have
I
a
was
round of
ready for this
applause.
one. I was prepared. Anyway, yeah, all right.
He did it. Yay!
Yeah, you
Preston.
Keep your pity,
He made it
pity
happen.
claps to yourself. We get to meet Fox, and we have another shootout action scene, starting in a pharmacy, corner store, whatever you want to call it, and then leading into a very mediocre high-speed chase on the. Well, I don't know if it's highly mediocre. It's pretty mediocre.
You know
though.
what? I have a hot take on this one.
Ooh.
It's a really solid scene, except James McAvoy sounds like Morty the entire time. He's just always like, oh, geez, Fox, we gotta get out of here. No, what are you doing? Oh, no. It's the worst.
Yeah, I don't like his complaining throughout this whole. This is when I pointed out how similar he is to Shia LaBeouf. Just like this, like
Sure.
kind of nothing man who's just needlessly like terrible to everybody,
He sure is.
and who's getting like dragged through this incredibly stressful moment and can't think of anything like better to do than just like whine and complain about it the whole time.
He's got nothing.
Which is fair, and yes, it is annoying, but at the same time, it's like kind of the right thing for his character and his character arc, though.
I would agree with you if he got better by the end of the movie and wasn't the worst person I've ever seen on a film.
Oh, he never. I mean, he doesn't get better. He just
I guess
gets
he does get more confident in himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
Oh, I was just can I jump back to the corner store for just a second? Because did you guys notice? And this could be another Blade Boner situation. So could this be? Did you notice that there's
can that be a thing? Just Blade Boner alert. Here we go.
just a real Blade Boner moment. So
You need a button.
Did you notice? Did you notice the signs that they had? Because they had they focused in on little signs, and it was like last chance, and you're like, oh, that's clever. And one of them's like, don't miss, and you're like, oh, that's good. One of them says egg store. I'm pretty sure. What? And they give it the exact same reverence that all the other signs have. Why? What is that?
I did not notice that.
I also noticed that. I don't know if I noticed it. I just sort of let it be.
Okay.
But
That's probably what they were going for too, I bet.
probably.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I know we're talking about the car chase, but I realized if I missed that,
Oh.
I'd never say it.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
good.
you're fine.
I have two things to point out about. Actually, I have three things to point out about Car Chase. One was that Angelina Jolie's character has the same windshield budget as Blade. So she's also very cavalier about just knocking the windshield right off the car. Two, I like how the car chase, when it's clear that it's from James McAvoy's, or what's his name, Wesley's perspective, it's all jittery and like disorienting. And then when Fox takes over and is like more in control, then the camera smooths out and it becomes a lot more focused and like more direct of what it's trying to show, to show like the camera is reflecting each person's outlook on the situation.
That is cool.
Had not noticed that.
I didn't either. It's almost like they thought about this movie when they made it.
I know this is so strange that we're watching a movie that people thought about.
On that car chases, has someone saying something in slow motion ever been funny? Do you think? 'Cause
I've never thought it was funny.
I don't think so either.
I think that is the number one issue with this movie is the slow motion.
The slow motion talking?
Yeah. Well, the slow motion outside of like the bullets hitting one another and like the bullets curving, everything else garbage.
Bad children's animated movies really co-opted that strategy of slowing down the action and then having someone slow motion say something.
Yeah.
And it feels like it works much better in a medium where it's supposed to be like just a joke with no sense of seriousness to it at all.
Yeah, it should be just a big dumb thing.
I don't know. I feel like the same way with in the chase scene, the van that Cross steals. I feel like they really lean into the fact that it's like cat food. It's like a pet food delivery, and there's like all the pets like across the dash.
Yeah.
I feel like they really lean into that just a little too much.
Way too hard. For no
And
reason. It's not funny.
like-
Yeah. And it doesn't really pay off either.
Yeah, and I feel like they could have, put him in a much cooler car, and the whole scene would have been just way more polished and would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, because you get to
Yeah,
the
I
point
could
where you're like,
definitely see
this
that.
van is keeping up with this Maserati. I'm not sure what happened here.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like, my Honda Accord is way faster than a delivery van. So, like, I don't know how bad of a driver you'd have to be to, like, not have your supercar outpace a huge delivery van.
Or how great a delivery driver you'd have to be. It's one of those two.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's, I think, like my biggest, like the whole scene, especially like the point where it's like the driving is like kind of cool, and then it gets to the point where they're just sort of like running into the back of police cars for no reason.
Yeah, well, because he said the thing about call the police, and then she was like, well, this is a very good opportunity to just kind of ironically hit a policeman.
Did you know
Is
that
that-
ironic crimes are still crimes?
What? Ironic
not
crimes
know
are
that.
still crimes?
Yeah.
I gotta go make some calls.
There was something about hearing the Pina Colada song come on in the car that was like, oh, we didn't even know what we were in for when this movie came out. Like, we had no idea what sort of like pop culture content we were going to gain from playing this song over various action set pieces.
It is kind of funny, though, that this is what the second second movie with Chris Pratt and the Pina Colada song. There's something to that I enjoy. It's like he was just born to be near that song.
Well, it's in his contract. He's in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
You have to have the Pina Colada song.
You know, it's kind of crazy. It's actually the other way around. If you have the Pina Colada song, he has to be in the
You have to
movie.
put Chris Pratt in the
Interesting,
movie.
interesting.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's why he hasn't been
is
good in
crazy.
any recent movies, because there's no Pina Colada song.
Yeah, it's like they're like casting him for it, and all of a sudden he can't do it. He can't bring it.
I did love flipping the car over and hitting the bus on the side and then flipping the bus over and then driving over the top of it and landing on the road.
Yeah, you
There
know
was
what?
a level of like tomfoolery that I think modern action movies don't have enough of.
I think you haven't watched enough Fast and Furious, Lincoln. Because if you
guess
like
that's true.
that kind of tomfoolery, let me tell you, they are chock a block full of it.
There's what, 10, 11 movies? If you count Hobbs
there
and
are-
Shaw?
There are 11 if you count Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah,
Thanks for acting all vague about it, Preston, and saying exactly the correct number.
yeah. Oh, there's
of
like I
movies.
don't know, like 10 or 11 if you
10
count
or-
the spin-off. 12 if you count the Han prequel that most people don't know about.
There's a Han
real thing.
prequel.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's
Really?
I don't remember what it's called. I'll find it for you.
Also, there's a shot of this movie where Fox and Wesley pull up in the car and then they pull up right next to this other car and the people in the other car look at her and then look at the car and then look back at her. And I was like, filmmaking. This is like the frame is being used to convey a comedic point. This is great.
They're making a movie.
Anyway, so then we get introduced to what is potentially one of the sort of cooler villain hideouts, locations for your evil empire. There's a giant, still in progress textile mill.
I do like that the textile mill is like a functional mill.
I do too.
I think that's cool.
Right. Well, I mean, how else are you gonna, have a legitimate business front?
Yeah, how else are you gonna buy all the bullets?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, have you seen the healing room? How are you gonna pay for the healing room without your?
I have so
room?
many
I
questions.
have a lot
about
of thoughts about the healing room.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll
Yeah.
get to that. We'll get to that. One thing at a time.
I like how you said that, and Lincoln and I both were like, I got a lot of things to say about that particular collection of liquids.
Interesting way to put
So
that.
what about the textile mill, Preston?
Well, it's just so we go to the textile mill for the first time, and like Lincoln so kindly reminded us, we get to meet Sloane, played by Morgan Freeman. I feel like is like one of the better characters in the movie. Well, maybe not better characters.
What do you mean by
one of the
better? Like more
portrayals,
interesting?
maybe.
I mean, I also like Morgan Freeman, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, he's one of those actors where he's very typecast, but I also am pretty much on board with the type that he's cast
I
as.
have
so
no,
like,
no problem with
fair.
it,
That's
and
very
I'm
fair.
not entirely sure he can do anything else. Like, I have no reason to believe that he's got other
Yeah.
stuff in his belt, because why would he need to?
yeah, he plays it so well.
But yeah, we get to see.
It's really like when you have exposition to cover, you could either like have it be clunky, or you could like spend a lot of time and effort and weave it into the narrative, or you could just have Morgan Freeman say it, and it's like no one will question it.
I don't even mind. It doesn't matter.
And that's
to
why
me.
you don't need that text at the beginning, because you just have Morgan Freeman read that text, and his voice just takes care of the rest.
Which he pretty
yeah.
much does.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
100%.
sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
between
it is. That's
this
true.
scene and then the Loom of Fate scene, like, explains all of that information so much quicker, better,
Yeah.
less painfully. So the next thing that happens is Sloane, Morgan Freeman, forces Wesley to shoot some wings off flies.
Which
I feel like
is kind of a crazy demand to just make out of nowhere.
Such
Right.
an escalation, right? Like it goes from like hold a gun to like do the most impossible thing with a gun.
Right, yeah.
Like I probably would have had him shoot a target to make sure he could do that.
Also, like, they're on the second floor. So where are the bullets going after he shoots those flies?
I like to think that the people who work at the textile mill don't know what it is. And so every once in a while, they just kind of like get a shot in the shoulder and they're like, textiles are so intense.
Part of work, it's part of the hazard pay.
Must have been a shuttle.
Yeah.
That's why the benefits are
Must
so
have been
good.
one of our bullet shuttles.
I guess we're making a red rug today. I didn't know that, but we've changed our minds.
After he shoots the flies, Morgan Freeman hands them to James McAvoy. And then for the next whole scene, he is holding the flies in his hand, and the movie doesn't let you forget that he's still holding them. And like, if you've ever had to throw a dead fly into the trash or something, that feeling is like so visceral and disgusting to like have to hold a fly in your hand.
Yeah, you hold on to that fly for as little time as possible.
But he's like, I got a gun and I got some flies, and we're gonna have this discussion right now.
Well, that's his next challenge, is to throw the flies in the air and then get all of them before they hit the ground. It's part of the training.
Wait, did that happen?
No,
That
but it should have.
didn't happen.
Oh, okay, good.
Also, wouldn't that be like...
There's a couple moments I was looking down at my notes. I was making sure I didn't want.
I feel like that'd be easier than just shooting the fly wings too, right? Like that would be kind of a downgrade.
I mean, fair enough, but
I'm not saying I wouldn't be into it. I'm just, Is this where we talk about homework? Where do you want to do that?
sure, we can talk about that's probably a decent segue and talk about the homework. We have a working textile mill that's kind of the front for the whole thing. And so the homework was to come up with what your fraternity of assassins, what your front organization would be. And
So
why.
I think it's more than a front. Like the fact that they're weavers is actually important to the story because the loom of destiny somehow weaves little mistakes into the tapestry that show targets to get killed.
Yeah.
And they get decoded from binary to English, which is like a crazy good luck of coincidence that it's two languages that we understand. So in that spirit, I think that my fraternity of assassins would be a guild of what used to be fortune tellers and are now astronomers. And so they're like reading the stars to see who their next target was. And so they started out as like astrologers studying in those cool like reflection pools. And then now they're like high profile like space researchers, but that's like the front.
I got some questions. I think most notably, stars stay pretty much exactly the same all the time.
Right.
No, this
is also an issue that I have.
So
I'm taking the same leap of faith that the movie's taking.
You're not though, because the loom doesn't always stay the same. The loom makes mistakes. Are you saying that stars pop in and out all the time, or are you saying that you get like every week it's just like, oh, it's Kevin James again. We have to kill Kevin James.
We still haven't.
We still haven't done it. He keeps
How
making
many more
incredible
Kevin
mall cop
James-
movies.
How many more John Smiths are there?
Yeah, right. They're just like wiping out anyone with the name John Smith.
No, I mean like the ancient people would read different things in the stars every time they read it.
But now we're smart and we know
That
that
was-
stars don't do different things.
No, they do tons of stars move around and they are influenced by gravity and there's nebulas and supernova and black holes and orbits and meteors and comets. There's so many things happening in space all the time.
Pretty sure that's not
And
true.
planets.
I'm pretty confident it probably not, right? Stars stay about the same most of the time.
No.
So how would
Well,
this,
stars move
how
a
would
lot.
this ancient people have advanced enough technology to be looking at?
How did ancient people in this movie know about binary?
They made it. They figured it out. And
Right.
just because they were like, I hate that Greg guy. Can we say this says Greg?
Can we make sure this says Greg? So wait, is your opinion that they're not actually being told by fate or that they are?
No, they are. It's just like, or they were at some point, but not now. Now it's just Morgan Freeman choosing who to kill. Which, when you think about it, is just like a group of assassins, right? That just they make a whole moral thing of it. They're like, oh, it's not fate anymore. Now we're not allowed to kill. Like, you were still killing people. It's the same
Still just
thing.
killing people and just kind of trusting that it was the right decision.
Yeah.
Also, if fate stopped telling you who to kill, but Morgan Freeman did start, is there like a big decrease in like powerfulness or urgency of the request?
It's almost the same. I hate to be the guy that brings Evan Almighty into this podcast again, but I'm pretty sure he is God.
Yeah, so like, is it really that big of a difference?
Well, Lincoln, your one's dumb, but mine is, I think, my front would be an end credits production company. So like they make the end credits reel for a movie, and whoever the best boy grip is the one that needs to die.
So by what process are they finding out this information? Like,
well, so they don't get the list of people who like they don't make the list, they just get it, right? So fate intervenes and because best boy grip is nothing, right? So fate intervenes.
What are you saying?
There's no
what is this disrespect?
It doesn't mean anything.
You don't know who best boy grip is?
Not when there's best boy and grip separately, and then they're like best boy grip. No, it's nothing. That's what I'm saying. Fate intervenes, and they're like best boy grip, kill that guy.
So it's like you could figure out who's next on the kill list by checking like IMDb.
No, because that's
like,
no. Because that's what I'm saying. They weren't involved in the movie at all. It doesn't matter. It's just a name.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
okay.
if you check IMDb before the credits of the movie come out,
well, they're
and you
already
find out who the best boy
dead
grip is
at that point because they get it and they go kill people. That's like probably months before the movie comes out.
Then they release the movie.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
How dare you?
I didn't mean to question your amazing theory.
It's okay. It just
Far be it from me to criticize someone else's homework.
So somebody at some point in Hollywood is going to go say, "Hey, wait a second. Why do all of these best boy grips keep disappearing?"
Well, that's the beauty of it is there is no best boy grip, and no one, not even the people who make the movie, watch the end credits closely enough to know. So they're just like, look, man, I don't remember a Timothy, Davis, but sure, it could be.
Well, Preston, what would happen is as soon as that director starts questioning why does the best boy grip always die, he'll get a casting notice that he's been cast as the best boy grip in a movie.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So
yeah, he's like,
it's really the casting people of Hollywood that's running this whole deal.
Well, this is the beauty of it is there is no way for anyone to kind of take over that unless I guess you run that. No, it's the same. Never mind. So it works even better. It's the exact same.
So is that what Disney's trying to do right now? Is like if they own enough media, then they can control who's the best boy grip on every movie.
I would say so.
Killed?
Yeah, I think Disney's probably a lot less closeted about its nefarious activities, but yeah, that's definitely one of them.
Conspiracy theories on.
We found it. Yeah, we have a separate.
We got it.
A whole other podcast now.
Brought to you by the Evening Brothers.
Yeah.
It's a podcast within a podcast. I have a note that just says, "Hey, I remember that shot, but I don't remember what shot I was looking at when I." Oh, I do remember. It was when he gets sick of his job and he takes his keyboard with him and then he smashes the keyboard against someone's face. Against Chris Pratt's face.
Thank you. He smashes it on Mario himself.
And my favorite, I love that they really emphasize too in that moment the "fuck you," and the "you" is one of his teeth.
Sure is. Which
that's like
how
my
hard do you
second
gotta
favorite
hit a
part
guy?
of this movie. Second favorite.
Very
part.
on the nose.
That is a great bit. Is that from something else, Lincoln?
No, I just have seen it like as a meme. Like I've seen it referenced in other places.
I see. I actually, speaking of seeing things before, I watched the kind of not opening scene, but I think the second or third scene where he does the big cool jump. I watched that on repeat so many times when I was like 12. I remember finding that scene on YouTube and being like, cool, this is as cool as life can get. So can we talk about the milk bath yet or what?
Sure, yeah, let's talk about his training montage.
I was about to say, yeah. Let's,
I forgot about that.
The
Okay.
next thing that happens is we get thrown into a very, dare I say, haphazard training montage.
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of feel like this is the first time they've ever trained anyone? So they're like, what do you do? Just like punch him real hard a lot. I don't know.
Why are you here? Why are you here?
Yeah.
Later on in the movie, he says that he's been doing it for 6 weeks.
It's a lot of weeks to get punched directly in the noggin.
1, yes. And 2, that is an incredible development of skill in that short of time.
Maybe if you hit someone enough times, they become good at shooting. I don't know. It just seems
Oh, okay.
it seems possible to me.
There's just a lot of negative reinforcement.
Oh yeah, so much. It's like we'll just punch you. We're not going to tell you what you need to learn. We're just going to punch you until you learn
We're
it.
going to punch the
Right,
knowledge
exactly.
into your brain.
Yeah, there's a very haphazard training montage where he gets punched a whole bunch. We see him do a little bit of shooting. It's the first time we see him like trying to curve bullets. There's also a whole lot of knife fighting.
Ooh, I want to point out something about the curve of the bullets because Morgan Freeman's character says, "If you," I'm not going to do a Morgan Freeman impression.
I wish you would.
No. We want you to do one.
If no one told you that bullets flew straight, what would you do?
It's actually
was
that's not bad. I'm
was
not going to
bad.
lie to you.
That is one of the weirdest things ever because one, bullets don't fly straight
Right.
because they curve because of gravity, and two, like, what does that even mean?
I actually do kind of love that energy. I also feel like that should have been applied a lot more in this movie.
like your imagination is the only limit, like Lego movie style.
Or like the Matrix. Like if no one told you that concrete was going to hit you real hard if you jump off a building, what would you do?
All right, back.
Yeah, okay. I also want to talk about probably my favorite line in the entire movie is when he gets hit by the concrete and then he like blacks out and wakes back up in the wax.
Oh yeah.
And then they go, how do you feel? And he goes, I feel kind of good. Like just the slow burn of that line I loved it so much. I like laughed out loud when I heard it.
That is pretty good. A little inside baseball. Preston's cutting in and out. So now's a great time for us to talk about all the problems we might have with the bath, because I've got so many questions. I have so many questions about this bath. Is it ice? Is it wax? Is it liquid?
I think it's wax.
What's happening?
I think it's wax. It's wax that's the melting point is like low enough that you can safely bathe in it.
Okay, except it's not, right? Because it's waxy on top, but it's like water underneath it. At some
What I think it
points.
is that it's the wax melts first at the bottom and then it melts later at the top. So it's like it's wax floating on wax. But they couldn't afford a better
It looks so
solution.
watery.
So it just looks like water. But I think they're trying to go for it all being made of wax.
How does wax heal all my cool scars and knife wounds?
I have no clue. It's kind of magic. It's just like a magical force that the movie.
There's a
Is
throwaway
about.
line where the Russian dude says something about it stimulates white blood cells. And
Yeah.
some other
Is-
bullshit. But
Are we
I think-
supposed
I
to
think
believe
Which is
that
exactly the same thing as
is it-
your cells healing.
Is it just white blood cells? Is it just a bunch of blood that's white? Is white blood cells white? I don't know anything about science. This is something I'm learning on this particular podcast.
Okay, well, white blood cells are white.
Cool.
They're immune cells. So they're the cells that are when there's something that has an immune response. I'm pretty sure they're the ones that go capture the germ and like kill it. So they help protect against infection in your blood.
I guess really what I'm asking is, do they seem kind of waxy if you let them sit?
No.
Okay.
No, not even a little
All
bit.
right. Well, one of us is a teacher.
Another thing I do appreciate about this movie is how all business Fox is the whole time. Like you see that Wesley is like kind of into her, but the whole time she's just like, I'm just excited to teach this guy how to punch and kill things.
and
Like,
I wouldn't even
that's
say
what I'm
that
here
she's
for.
that excited. Like,
I think she seems pretty enthusiastic about teaching him. She seems to gain a certain amount of joy in giving him lessons and stuff.
I mean, a little bit, but at the same time, the entire movie, she's just sort of like stands there like a brick wall, and it just like I think her only direction was like stand there and look serious.
Yeah,
Just
it
sort of-
does.
And she does a freaking great job at
It
it.
does kind of feel like, yeah, her only direction was stand there, look serious, have ass, like, and then congratulations.
Stand there, look serious and sexy, and call it a day. Like,
Yeah, here's your Oscar.
Besides her deal with the ant, like there's like 2 moments where she's really needed, and then the rest of it she's just sort of like happens to be there, like, and doesn't really. I don't know. I think her character could have been much stronger and could have contributed a lot more.
Oh, for sure,
story.
yeah. But she stands
Yeah, I mean,
on that
I
train
think
with
after
him.
the beginning, she kind of disappears.
That's true.
Like once she starts training him, it feels like she kind of disappears from being important in the narrative.
Yeah.
Because it's like anybody could be training him now, and it's not like setting up any sort of relationship that needs to get paid off, or they're not going to become like assassin partners in the movie.
That would be a cool. I wish that happened though. That would have been fun.
That would have been a fun ending. Like he blocks the last part of the bullet, and so she lives,
That would have
and
been.
then they have to like refound the fraternity, just the two of them.
Oh man, that would have been so cool. He shoots a bullet with a bullet. My favorite thing that happens in this movie.
Yeah. and then he says something about like maybe it will turn out to be bad to save someone's life from the
But what the fuck have you done today?
yeah, like that. Something like that. Because the movie also it does bring up a little bit of questioning like is it morally right to just obey the tapestry? And the movie like kind of glances at that ideology and then is like, nope, it's fine.
Yeah.
You should kill anybody that's on the tapestry.
They really don't touch on a lot of the kind of moral questions they bring up.
I want to talk about the magic wax a little bit more.
Why wouldn't we?
Because there's a few times where a character is in like a lot of physical danger and you're worried, and the movie's trying to tell you that you need to be worried about their life and safety. And I just can't if I know that there's magical wax that will heal all your wounds.
Not your death wounds, not wounds that kill you to death.
But like when Fox stands in front of the target and is like, shoot the bullet around me. I was like, well, I wouldn't stress out too much because if I accidentally hit her, we could just put her in the wax real quick and fix it.
I thought about that too, except he shoots directly at her head for some reason.
That's true.
Well, it's level with the
So maybe
target.
I guess.
You can curve bullets though, so couldn't he have just like shot towards her like middle and then hoped that he curved it around and up?
Curve it up a little.
So the next thing that happens is we start to see Wesley actually taking on targets, and then we have a little bit more of the moral discussion that's very half-assed and very vague.
Yeah.
And not well done.
Tell us about how they get their orders. We kind of touched on it, but we should hear the whole rundown of like how
so
the
here's
situation
rundown,
is supposed to be
so you
working.
got the loom of fate that for thousands of years has been skipping stitches, and you look at the skipped stitches, and if it's vertical, it's a 1, if it's a horizontal, it's a 0 or something. And then it's binary that you then translate into a name.
Can I share an interesting fact about this? Did you know that is how the program memory was coded on the Apollo guidance computer that guided the spacecraft as it went to the moon?
Wow, I didn't know
programmed
spacecrafts were
with-
guided by just a bunch of carpets. That's cool.
No, so it was a metal
How many
metal
looms did they
wire that
have
was
on
fed
the Apollo
through.
mission,
So they had to
Yeah.
they had to do it all
How
by
many
hand
looms?
actually.
And did they tell them did the loom tell them where to go? Was it like moon, go to moon? Good luck.
No,
For
no,
controls,
I'm saying
you have just like
it
a
was metal
smaller,
threads
handheld loom
going
to
in and out
last.
of magnetic rings. And so if it skipped the magnetic ring, it was a 0, and if it went through the magnetic ring, it was a 1. And they actually use that to code it so that when you run electric current through that ring, you can tell which parts of it went through and which parts of it didn't.
Oh wow, that is
and they
cool.
use that to program in memory for a spaceship.
That is cool. Did they bring the little handheld loom onto the spaceship on the moon so that if they were like, "Can I go to the potty now?" and then the loom would be like, "No."
Can I go to the potty now?
When the loom says no, it might be a no or it might be a not yet. You don't know.
Instead of your magic 8-ball, you just bust out your loom.
Yeah,
run
loom
the shuttle back
closes
and
one
forth a couple
door and
times,
opens another.
Oh, nope. Okay, sorry, guys.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do the spacewalk. Loom said no. The loom giveth and the loom taketh away.
Never mind. Also, is it just a fully mechanical loom that they're counting on the random mistakes in the loom is what's creating the code?
Right. Well, and the thing is they're taking like a 6-inch by 6-inch section and just sort of counting what's in that section. And it's like, are you looking at the entire thing and, oh, there's a lot of this little section has a ton of mistakes. Let's look at this one. Because they're very clearly not taking the entire thing.
I mean, we don't.
Dividing it up.
Because it kind of
We
seems
don't
like the
see
equivalent
them.
of looking at a cloud, like forecasting from a cloud. Like this cloud looks like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's head. I need to go kill him.
I need to go murder Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, we don't see them not taking the whole loom, the whole piece of weaving, right?
Well, you see you see at the very end of the table, there's a roll where they're rolling all of this
Oh,
fabric
that's true.
onto.
Yeah.
Well, do they start by looking for mistakes and then they cut them out once they find them?
It's got to be something like that.
But still, I think it's a more interesting idea than this movie deserves to this idea of just creating a process that will create random noise and then interpreting that random noise as this sign of the universe.
Well, I think that's the weakest part of this movie is like the world building is like the circumstances in the world building are ridiculous, and yet they don't lean into
But it doesn't actually
enough.
want to like play in
Yeah.
that space as much.
Right. Yeah, because if it lived in that, and if it was like, sorry, I gotta go like kill Timothy Oliphant because the loom said I had to, like,
How dare you? Don't you do that.
And you compare that to, I don't know, let's say John Wick, where the world building is just as
Oh,
ridiculous.
let's just say John Wick, just for example.
Oh, hypothetically.
As we're talking about movies about
Well, it's like, I
underground
feel like
guilds
it's a
of
fair
assassins.
comparison because like the world building is sort of ridiculous and far fetched and like
Oh,
really
yeah, yeah,
leans into the mythology a lot, which I feel like this movie also tries to do, but it doesn't lean into
Yeah.
it enough.
this movie did walk so John Wick could like run and shoot and kill people and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah. Lincoln, when you made that comparison earlier, I was a little angry, and then the more that I thought about it, the more you're right you were.
A little angry.
What that every movie we've reviewed so far has had something to do with John Wick. Like John Wick has been responding to the movies that we've watched so far.
Well, that too, but I mean, this movie especially, I feel like is a very I feel like it's in the same vein as John Wick, just significantly less well done.
Yeah.
Also, very much in the same vein of having a character who is like taken to a group, or maybe I would say like a league of assassins that train him using really brutal methods and then teach him to be a killer, and then he turns against them. It's very Batman Begins as well.
It's also ironically very John Wick. Like that's his whole thing. So
That's his whole thing too. So
anyway, do we feel like John Wick is like, having seen John Wick 4, do we feel pretty confident, because I do, that bending bullets is not that far away from a thing they might do in those movies? Because I feel like we are, I would say, if we got 3 more John Wick movies, there is 100% a scene where he's swinging a gun around and it kind of goes not all the way around, but just like a little bit around a thing.
I don't think so.
I think definitely.
Not at all.
I think 100%.
they like start to talk about like you're maybe bending the bullet with your mind as you shoot it. But then they reveal through the action that actually happens that you bend a bullet by swinging your arm
just whipping it.
around as you shoot it. And it's like, guys, did you take like middle school physics? Don't you remember the demonstration of the teacher spinning something and asking, is this going to curve when I let it go? And everyone's like, oh, it probably will curve. And then you let it go and it goes straight.
No,
Because that's how like momentum works.
That's because this movie has the energy of like a little kid who thinks, hey, if the elevator does fall, I'll just jump at the end and I'll be okay.
and I'll be fine.
Yeah, Lincoln, I don't think this movie was made with the kind of care and attention to physics that you have.
No, it was not.
I hate to break it to you. Which actually, there is a Mythbusters episode where they actually explore, can you bend a bullet? Believe it or not.
Can you?
No.
What did they find?
It's a short episode. They walk on screen and they go, of course not, you dumb idiot for clicking on this video. And then they walk on screen.
First they do with like humans swinging it, and obviously that doesn't do it. So they build it's either pneumatic or hydraulic robot to swing the gun to like
And that doesn't
see
do
how
it either.
fast you would have. Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
And then they got a bunch of monkeys to swing it.
There's no speed that you could throw it that would bend it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was their finding. So the next thing that happens is we get face-offs between Wesley and Cross, who's the antagonist but not the villain of the movie, which sort of all coalesces around the fact that Cross is actually Wesley's dad.
Which I'm not going
Can
to
you
lie.
believe that they pulled a "you killed my father, no, I am your father"? They pulled exactly that.
It worked so
scene.
hard on me though. Like
It did get me.
I got
though.
fooled.
One of the things that like really works is like the shot where Wesley's like slipping, he adjusts his grip and then pulls the gun with the other hand. Like it's I don't know, I feel like it's such a good moment.
Also,
that-
the train sequence of them like on the train and then the car smashing into the side and then trying to help and everything.
You mean Dead Reckoning?
It was very much. Yeah, I was about to say it's like watching a Mission Impossible movie with none of the like planning montage, just like straight into the action. So you're like, oh, I hope they made a plan off screen.
I mean, except it's not like watching a Mission Impossible movie. It's like watching that Mission Impossible movie, right?
it's like watching Dead Reckoning. Yeah,
It's that scene. This scene, the train scene, does have, like I said, my favorite thing that happens in this movie, which is a bullet stopping another bullet in midair.
it has like it happens like 4
It
times in a
happens
row.
so much around people.
Happens
It's
a
so
bunch.
good.
There's bending
Well,
bullets.
I like
there's
the that you realize that the reason that happens is because they're father and son, and so their abilities like perfectly cancel each other out.
Yeah.
I noticed, sort of knowing that this is coming, like every time that Wesley fires, Cross fires later. Every single
that's
time.
cool.
Wesley always shoots first.
Interesting.
That's very cool. Because Dad wouldn't try to kill his little boy.
Right. And I think, like,
Yeah.
the dialogue and, like, some of that could have been, like, a little bit better in some of those moments. But overall, it's surprisingly well executed, with the exception of Fox just sort of standing there and just sort of gives a very stoic, mm-hmm. And then
Yeah,
says, your
that's
name
I couldn't
comes
even
up,
tell
came
where
up.
she was. Like, was she supposed to be like within view? Like, it never showed an establishing shot of them like seeing each other. Like, I couldn't tell that they knew where each person knew where the other person was.
That had the energy to me of some, like, a test audience being like, does he know? Like, what's happening? And so they just shot her being like, yeah, yes.
Yes, you are right.
You got me.
He was your father.
You done got me.
Later.
Well, and it could have been more impactful, too, with her trying to get to Cross before he can talk to Wesley and explain it.
Oh, they do talk about, they like have these flashbacks of his father trying to get across to Wesley and tell him about this terrible thing, like try to separate him. Why did he not just like call him on the phone?
Hey,
Be like,
son.
hey, man. Hey, bud,
Guess
I'm your
what?
dad, actually.
You know, that's true. Well, and at the end, there's the reveal of his house that his dad literally lived, like, right across the train tracks, like, window to window.
Like, this man is a master assassin. I really think he could have found the time to just like visit this
Right.
man's house.
He could
and
have
be
walked
like,
across
okay.
the train tracks and just knocked on his window and said, hey, what's up?
Yeah, or send, like, an email with some JPEG attachments. Probably could have done it. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of ways to get this message across, and very few of them involve guns and bullets. Why is this movie called Wanted? That just hit me. There's...
Oh, I do know
Okay.
why. I think it was something that you do have to like read it a little bit. Like you have to read into it a little more. I think they could have made it more
Oh,
clear.
sorry, Professor
But I think
Lincoln's
it's that.
back on. Okay.
Well, it reminds me of the Apollo program. Just kidding. No, I think it was that his desire was that he needed to be wanted by people. Like he needed to fit in. He wanted to be wanted. And so now it means like double meaning. Like he is wanted. He wants to be wanted in like the personal sense, but all he gets is wanted in the like criminal, we're going after you sense.
I
No.
don't
disagree with that 100%.
I don't think that's true, but I do like the idea that he like wants to be wanted legally and emotionally.
That's what I think they could have done more to make that title mean something, but I think that's what it seems like you could read the title. as.
Okay.
I don't think they put that much thought into it. There's like 2 shots where he's like looking at like a newspaper stand after he turns around for the ATM, and it says wanted, and it like talks about the rooftop shooting. And then he looks up, and then Fox is sitting there with her sunglasses on. They just sort of had to throw the name on there.
I think it's because it's based on the comic book Wanted by Mark Millar. I think is what that is.
Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know. I think I like my idea.
Okay, yeah,
more.
your idea is good. Emotionally wanted. Wouldn't it be called like needed or like
No,
appreciated?
because wanted has a double meaning.
Oh, except one of them, actually both of them kind of don't make sense.
Yeah, I think the movie should have leaned into that more. I feel like the movie, his quest for like purpose in life is really muddy. It's very muddled by the actual content of the movie.
I mean, the movie kind of shoots itself in the foot in that regard, because if you are like need a quest for, stuff, hope, a life, and then somebody comes to you and they're like, you're the coolest guy ever, then you're good.
The Lego movie?
Yeah, it's the Lego movie, but more guns.
But I even feel like the Lego movie, it does a better job of actually following through on that.
I agree.
Idea.
Because the Lego movie doesn't have him be the coolest guy that everybody wants to know.
Yeah. Like imagine if the Lego movie, they send him back to the Lego world and they go, whoa, actually we were wrong. The special was about a specific person and it was you.
Yeah, sorry, we messed that one up. It's been you the whole time.
And it's not that revenge itself is something that you should try to get through. It's that you just weren't revenging for the right
Yeah,
reasons.
do a revenge, but do a revenge when you know who your dad is.
Yeah. Like imagine if John Wick killed all of the mobsters that killed his dog, and then he realizes that he killed the wrong people, and for a second he's really mourning about all the innocent lives he killed, and then he just goes, well, now I just got to kill the people who really did kill my dog.
Can I add one?
And then the movie
can I
just
add one thing to
continues
that?
on.
He's
What?
going around and he's killing all these mobsters, and then he kills one lady, and she's like, "Actually, shoot, I was your wife." Turns out,
I was a dog.
I was your dog and wife somehow. I was your dog wife. I was your dog wife, Belinda.
And then he goes, "Oh no, my quest for revenge has killed the very thing I was trying to bring justice to."
My dog wife.
And then he goes, "Well, now I need to kill the right people."
Yeah,
That all seems a little convoluted.
you're right. I agree. Couldn't agree more. Actually,
you're right. It would be very convoluted if a movie decided to do something like that.
So the next thing that happens is Wesley
Thank you.
is rescued by one of his dad's friends. I don't know. He helps him get to his dad. It's a whole thing.
the Alfred to his dad's Batman.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Well, yeah, and he discovers the Batcave later too.
He does.
Well, it's more of a Harry Osborn discovering the attic that has the.
I wrote that exactly. I wrote he finds his dad's workshop just like Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 2.
I do like how the Alfred to this man's Batman says, "Your dad thought sacrificing his life was worth it to save you." It's like, this man, he didn't sacrifice his life. You just straight up killed him.
Wouldn't you like have him hold him by like on the train scene, right? There would be so many times where like you're holding him up and you would be like, stop, I'm your dad. Hold on, I'm your dad. Stop. Wait, I'm your dad.
Yeah, he really has nothing to lose at that point.
Literally nothing. He'd be like, I'm your dad and I could prove it. Or the train lands and he's like standing over him with a gun and he'd be like, wait, hold on. I'm actually your dad. Turns out.
So then we go into the final battle where Wesley puts it all together, where he gets a whole bunch of rats with
And kills a bunch
some
of
peanut
rats.
butter and some explosives and watches.
I do not like needless animal cruelty in movies. I don't like that he killed all those rats. That really made me feel
It
weird.
was kind of strange. I also don't like that he kills all those people. Like, I have a lot of questions about that.
No, they all pulled guns on him, so
I'm
they were all killers.
fully aware that they all pulled guns on him. I feel like this whole movie, I have two thoughts. First thought, way too much peanut butter, right? That's too much peanut butter. He got way too much peanut butter.
Yeah, you could just use like a little
Get,
dollop
like-
for each little trap that you
Get
make.
one thing of peanut butter and spread it along your little
maybe
ramp.
two. Get two. Get a
maybe
backup.
two. Just one Costco collection of peanut butter. Anyway, my second thought is like this whole movie, he's building a repertoire with these guys, and he's like the weird meat guy. You think they might kind of be friends. Like the whole movie, I feel like is setting me up to be like they're kind of bros with this guy. And then he walks in there.
Well, it's becoming like a motley crew.
Yeah.
It's like
It would be
each one has their own little weird.
It would
quirk.
be like at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy or the Dungeons and Dragons movie, because they're the same exact plot. It would be like at the end of those movies, if our main, spunky little main guy walks in and shoots literally everyone with a gun.
But they were evil.
I guess they were evil.
They were shooting him first.
I know they were shooting him first.
Well, he did explode them first.
That's true. Yeah. They probably might not have if he walked in and he was like, so I found my dad.
Peace.
Dip. I'm out. I'm out, nerds.
The rat thing didn't have to be there because he's sort of like, I think the whole thing with all the peanut butter is like the rats have to eat the explosive as well, and so the peanut butter.
Oh, I thought the explosive was just tied to the watch.
Well, no, that's the
I
detonator and the timer.
Oh,
Do they
And I think-
eat the explosive?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Because
terrible.
not all the
A
rats
is
have
terrible.
the detonator, so I think the idea is that one detonator rat sets off all the other explosive rats around it.
Oh, well, that's
That's
really
so
sad.
mean.
That's a sad story you told us, Preston. Why would you do that to rats?
It's no,
Preston,
it's
why would
so
you
dumb
do that?
because in the 30 seconds we see from him opening the door, in 30 seconds there are rats all over this compound in the Loom of Fate room. Like they're just everywhere.
Yeah, the rats are extremely well trained. Also, they are like totally cool with this whole greater good thing. They're like on board with nobly sacrificing their lives
absolutely, yeah.
as suicide bombers.
they're-
for
Well,
this
their
mission.
first thing isn't to run away and hide. It's, hey, we're going to swarm this compound because this dude just fed us a bunch of peanut butter and is now letting us out of a garbage truck.
This
Hey, you didn't know this, but off screen he told them that there was more peanut butter inside the compound.
Yeah.
He's like, check it.
Oh,
But you
was
gotta
that
Take
find
my
it.
word for it.
Was that a deleted scene
You gotta
where
find
he
it,
was
though.
sneaking
Gotta
around
check every
the
little
compound
crevice.
putting peanut butter everywhere?
yeah.
No. He just told them that there was.
Oh, he lied
He's a
to
liar.
them.
It's also a deleted scene where he reads his big cool religion book of rules about how they should totally explode themselves because it's good and God loves it.
The loom told him to,
Right, yeah.
to kill a bunch of rats. It just the loom just said rat, 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 rat,
Yeah,
rat, rat over
right.
and over again. I guess you need to kill 1,000 rats.
So the next thing that happens.
Hold on, don't move fast. I love the idea that the loom people are like, holy shit, like as it's rolling through, they're like, this can't be right.
And then they see the rats like crawl into the room.
So then we get the second glass breaking scene or shot of the movie.
Second and arguably worse.
Oh, much worse. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure worse.
Definitely worse. And then we get what's a pretty cool hallway scene, kind of running through the looms and
The
leveling
loom that
up and
the
shooting
hallway
people
of
and-
infinite length. Oh, we didn't. There's a shot of before the attack happens, like right before, of Morgan Freeman really solemnly doing a cat's cradle in his hands.
Oh, I missed it.
Do you remember that?
No.
I remember it now.
He's just sitting there looking at the window, and the camera like pans down on his hands, and he's like doing the cat's cradle. And I just know that if they had kept the shot going, he would have turned to the guy next to him and go, "Put your hand like this."
We're like, you are not going to believe what I just figured out.
So then we get the final face-off is with all of the remaining assassins, all of the people that we've met by name, kind of. Sloane's there, Fox is there, and it's where Sloane does the big reveal that everybody's name in the room had come up.
Which like totally makes sense,
Oh, yeah,
right?
100%.
Like you can't just be training an unending pool of assassins and just expect them to continue living in the world forever.
Right, yeah. Especially like super assassins.
I think it's such an interesting example of like how narrative weight gives you assumptions about a story, because like when we watch that, we know that because this is like this final confrontation, we kind of know that Morgan Freeman is telling the truth. Like we know that from watching movies, that in the final confrontation is when it's all laid out on the table and you can finally know who to trust and who's speaking the truth and who's not. But like, according to the characters in the movie, they're really just taking him at his word. They don't know that they're in the third act of this story. Like, they don't know that this is the stage of the story where everything gets revealed. They're just like, oh, well, I guess he wasn't lying about all our names coming
Actually,
up.
to the point
He was telling the truth about
to the
that.
point that he gives Fox hers, and she's like, your name came up, and then he gives some other guy, your name came up, and then like a third guy, your name came up, and then he goes around the room and just like sort of throws papers on the ground. Like, I assume he had those three, and then the rest of them were blank papers that he was like, yours too, Derek. Also,
John, Jimmy, Jason. yeah, your name came up too.
what's your name? Frank? Oh, okay. You're fine.
Frank?
You're chill.
Yeah, Frank's cool.
You're fine. Get out of here. Get out. You're not even in this
Yeah, get out of here. Go get yourself
You
a
were here to
sandwich.
ask me
Oh,
about.
the janitor's
You're
cool?
asking me
Oh,
about
awesome.
the shipment of linen.
You're a DoorDash guy. You can leave. You're good.
Oh, you're an actual weaver. You were here to just ask me about the supply of thread that was coming
Yeah.
in.
Oh,
You're good.
you're
Go.
applying for a real job. Okay. Let's see how this
Give us
goes.
You know
a
what?
second.
I'll get back to you
Give
on
us
that.
a second. We're gonna handle this little internal issue real quick, and then we'll chat.
I'm gonna let you know if we have a business by the end of this,
You know-
and then
Thank you for your resume. I'll take a look at it.
yeah.
A lot of promising things here. Thank you.
Well, great, because we just had a whole bunch of openings.
This is cool. You're actually overqualified for this job.
Okay. Anyways,
Anyways.
yeah. So she shoots everyone.
Yep.
Which how hard do you have to whip a gun to go like a full circle?
I have no idea. It's a very tight.
It's not a
circle.
big circle. It's not like a stadium. It's
Just
a
like
room.
the amount of velocity that the bullet has to have to continue. Anyways, and that's Wanted.
That's
That's a
wanted.
quality movie. It's fine.
Quality movie.
Of the movies we've watched,
Give it how much does it use it?
oh yeah, it uses the hell out of it.
So John, tell us about what we're watching next.
Okay, so we have I've noticed a trend. We have watched quite a few adaptations of comic books / franchise pieces. That's what I'm going to say. We've watched a lot of those.
Okay.
So I'm going to shake it up a little bit. We've also watched a lot of just like big man shoot a big gun. So
Yeah, we have.
the movie we will be watching is Vin Diesel's The Pacifier. And I'm fully aware that we've seen a Vin Diesel movie already, We are watching The Pacifier. Your homework is, I couldn't think of a lot here, but I want you guys by the end of the movie to tell me who in this movie is a Nazi. Because there's, I think, one pretty obvious answer, but I got some questions. So.
Okay, so we're going to really dig deep into this. Who is
Keep
a
an
Nazi
eye out.
in the movie The Pacifier?
Who's a Nazi? And I want you guys to choose someone that you don't think the other is going to choose.
Oh, okay, Preston. Let's like put this in a more like strict context. Let's say if we both choose different people, we win, and if we both choose the same people, we lose.
No. If you both choose the same people, I win.
No, your job is to predict who each of us is going to say.
That's even better. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to say who I think you're both going to say, and you guys are. If you get the same person, you lose. I win. This is good. Enjoy The Pacifier. I think
like
it's on
this.
Disney Plus.
I like this. Great.
Thank you guys for listening to Twinkie Talk, presented by the Evening Brothers. I have been Brother John. Use it.
I have been Brother Lincoln. What did you do today?
I've been Brother Preston.
Goodbye. We'll see you next time.